Welcome back to Istanbul for the final day of competition at the International Skating Union's Junior Grand Prix Series here. I'm Mark Conretti and I will be joined remotely from his home in Vancouver by the brilliant Ted Barton. And we head now to the last event of this week of wonderful skating, and it is the ice dance competition has been a fairly open event, but Jali Peterson and Jeffrey Chen lead the field with a fairly comfortable 3-point margin. Behind them, lots of close results after the rhythm dance, so stay tuned for 16 free dances in this final event of the weekend.
And you can see the sun starting to set in Istanbul, and indeed the sun starting to set on a great week of skating here on this third stop on the Junior Grand Prix Series as we head towards the final competition, the free dance coming up right now.
Well, looking forward to that, no question, as we go live inside the building in Istanbul. There we are, Mark, final event, and you will fly home tomorrow. And of course, we'll be on for Osaka, Japan, number 4, as we take a look at the officials for the free dance event as the skaters, the first group of skaters, take to the ice. And there's a look at the technical panel as well. And next week will be very interesting. No pairs next week in Osaka, but I'm sure a fairly full audience.
Yeah, great to hear still some warmth and support for the ice dancers. There's no Turkish representative in the competition in the ice dance segment, but still some happy people, a happy audience here to support all of the skating, and it does definitely seem like the Turkish audience has been really appreciative of all the skaters have done to put on the performances here as we see the starting order and the lineup for the competition.
Yeah, a good growing community, I imagine, of skating in Turkey, and I think that this has been wonderful support for them, and wonderful to see the Junior Grand Prix stop in Istanbul. And as you mentioned, it's the 3rd Junior Grand Prix in Turkey. This is the latest installment. So what can we be expecting? What are we looking for here? If I'm a new viewer, or well, I actually am not a new viewer, but I'm not very educated in the basics. Okay, perhaps. But for those viewers that don't know much about dance, what can we expect here in the free dance part?
Well, depending upon whether the couples choose to do 2 short lifts or 1 combination lift, we can expect to see up to 8 elements within the program. For the dancers, we'll get to see the twizzles, we'll get to see a dance spin, we'll get to see either 2 short lifts or a combination of 2 short lifts together. We will see 3 choreographic elements. Sorry, 2 choreographic elements, my mistake. Seniors is 3 choreographic elements, and that's really exciting. An opportunity for the skaters to pick from 7 different types of choreographic element. They can do choreographic hydroblade, they can do the choreographic spinning movement, choreographic assisted jumps. There are a host of different options that have been given to the skaters, and they're a chance for them to really push the creative execution and push the creativity within their performances. And it's always really fun to see how the skaters choose to use those elements.
And Mark, just for the audience, those choreographic elements don't have levels of difficulty. So
Exactly.
like a spin would or a lift would, but they do earn the points based on the quality of what you have performed. It's the GOE, really a GOE element.
Absolutely, and they'll all come in at the same base value, but then the GOE will dictate, and the judges have that really clear criteria, the reduction for the errors and the bullet points. Well, not so much the bullet points, the positive remarks for the judges when it comes to giving it a positive grade of execution for the choreographic elements, and indeed all of the technical elements as well. And so many points can be amassed through that GOE, and it's not always appreciated or utilized, but we'll see, I suspect, the increased GOEs climbing as we go towards the American team, Yali Peterson and Jeffrey Chen, who lead after the rhythm dance.
Okay, I have another question for you from a fan. That's
Oh,
me.
okay. Okay.
No, so I'm watching a bunch of dance teams, and I'm going, I don't know so much about the technical thing. I'm going, oh man, I really love that team. That's awesome. You see another team, you go, it's okay. So what is the difference from a point perspective? How does that affect? Judges will be the same way. Some performances will be really attracted to perhaps, and some less so. How does that impact points?
I think one of the biggest misdemeanors perhaps in people's appreciation or misconception and understanding of a result in dance, for those that don't know ice dance as well, will be what's hard to define and hard to see. When we look at the French pair on the screen, or Canadian Emma Gustad, as a generalization, whilst they're all brilliant skaters, their knees, their ankles, their glide might not be as great as that which we see from those above. And as we've discussed before, then that flow and that glide won't be as visible as some later skaters, and the knock-on impact of that is definitely in the skating skills, but then it'll impact the other two components as well, and it impacts GOEs. So that's why you see some of the same training centers producing some of the world's best, because in those centers they see that quality. And so whether it's the coaches or just being in an environment where that's so evident, that becomes a commonplace for all that train there.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting for viewers that don't know much about ice dance or even skating that matter. They say, wow, I just love that music. I don't know, Moulin Rouge, I just love the skating of that. But it could be weak skating, right? So It's so interesting. You can get deceived by the performance, the music, the passion, the emotion, and all of that, and not realize that what's underneath the technical aspect of the sport itself is something you wouldn't really notice or identify, but the judges do. So, just keep all that in mind and actually just sit back and enjoy the dancing.
And it's such a good point, because sometimes those that are really creative and inspire an audience and get an audience excited, it's that creativity that gets people really passionately upset about results. And it's interesting to see
exactly.
when you get some real frustrated fans when they don't get the result they want.
Exactly. And here we go. Now you're going to work a lot here, Mark. So
Good.
You
Love
get
that.
ready.
He says at the start of the event.
Yeah, exactly. But we love it. It's a lot of fun. As we take a look at the first team, just taking a few moments before their names are announced and trying to get their knees going. You can see quite often dancers just bending their knees get so important in this sport. The first team comes from Canada. 18-year-old Eva Gustad, 20-year-old Kristen Bennett, the 14th after the rhythm dance. I know they were not happy with their rhythm dance, and they're going to want to redeem themselves here in the free. They're coached by Caroline and Yuris Razguliev, two fabulous coaches in Canada. And they will skate the free dance to Golden Eye by Tina Turner and Live and Let Die.
Well, congratulations to Emma Gustad and Christian Bennett from Canada. To me, as you acknowledged, Ted, they were frustrated and disappointed a little bit, but to me that was significantly better just from the very offset. A theme that they've got, the James Bond theme, many have done it, but they seem to showcase that from start to finish. Lots of acknowledgement of that thematic pursuit throughout, so composition and presentation should be high.
Well, you can clearly see a difference in the body language and the facial expression at the end of this versus the rhythm dance, and more satisfied with the performance. The numbers don't really matter at this stage. It's making sure that you come away from this competition having learned something, most important, having enjoyed it as well, and having felt that even with mistakes, you put your best on the ice, and I think they did that today.
You can see here just flow and glide, pressure into the ice that we see and expect from the ice dancers. And I thought throughout the twizzles I cut it a little too short, I think, Ted, but you could see arm stylization. That was great. Look at the characterization from Christian here. The gunshot, if you like, and even that held through this. That's a feature with the arms, but they managed to style out what is a technical element to push the grade of execution as well. Curve lift coming in at level 4. And this is a feature for the man in the camel spin position, and a beautiful example of it. Really good arch in the back, good extension. And I was conscious that particularly it seemed like Emma was really sad and frustrated with the rhythm dance. And interestingly though, I saw Christian afterwards saying that he understands skates can be good, skates can be bad, but having a great time is a choice. And hopefully both of them come off here having had a really great time and experience in Istanbul, and they'll set down for the rotational lift.
Yeah, so much in life, and we're talking about sport here, but so much in life has to do with your attitude as you bring your attitude. And there are tough times, but working through with a positive attitude and will help you get through it more quickly. Clearly you can see more satisfaction with that performance. They'll go home with something learned and set up a new set of priorities with Eurus and Caroline and get back to work. So good way to finish the Junior Grand Prix event, their experience here in Istanbul.
Yeah. You can see that consistent affirmation from Christian to Emma prior to the marks coming out, just reaffirming, good job, irrespective of what comes up now.
Yeah, exactly.
Emma looks fixated though on what's going to come from the judges.
Yeah, she's focusing on that on that number right there. 71.89 for the free dance. Of course, the first team out. Okay, there's a smile. There you go. Good. 117.45. Put it in perspective. Move forward. Continue to improve. Most importantly, enjoy this process. You're young. Wonderful opportunity. Our next team comes from the Czech Republic. 18-year-old Eliska Philip, 17-year-old Filip Denzel, 13th after the rhythm dance. And their personal bests in the free dance, 72.96.
Well done. Tiny wobble at the end for Eliska, and that the choreographic sliding movement that they'd hoped for in Bangkok 2 weeks ago but struggled with. And a really great insight, Ted, to see how much a couple can improve in 2 weeks. And you almost see it more evidently in the dance event than the singles, because it's all about the energy and the commitment, and this team just looks so much more sharp, committed and confident.
Yeah, when I look at the number of the result and I look at their skin and go, wow, good unison, deep edges, particularly in the first half of the program. They skate close to each other, deep knees. So I'm going, wow, I mean, this is a pretty strong team in the first group. So let's see what their score is. And you're right, coming out of Bangkok, that was, a big improvement, and I think they'll be happy with that.
And here we see the required 1 foot sequence, just doing that change of edge into the right outside rocker, and the tech panel will be looking so closely. The twizzle, one of the 4, the most likely to be called, and this team got level 2, both of them, for that element, so that quite a coup. Constantly moving arm movements is the feature in the first twizzle. And although slightly out of synchronicity, it's still, I think, an improvement on Bangkok not long ago. Here, straight line left, that 1 foot exit. Look at this choreography done by Luca Linotti, former world champion from Italy, along with their new coach, Michal Ceska, who seems, it was interesting, Michal was saying to me that he chooses to work less than a day to give the most to Zakova and Menchel, to make sure that he's the best version of himself, to give them the quality that he knows that they need to be an elite team. And I thought that was just amazing commitment from the coach.
Amazing commitment. Wonderful quality in a person, no question, as they wait for their scores. Well, 77.61, season's best. They look happy with that. Total competition score 124.51. Thumbs up, little heart. They're in first place. Second team out, but they're happy with that score and that performance.
7 points higher than 2 weeks ago, Ted, so really good.
Well done. Our next team comes from Kazakhstan, Eva Shalieva and Ivan Soloviev. 16th after the rhythm dance, 13 and 16 years of age, so very young for Eva. 90.42, they'll need that to take the lead as they skate the free here in week number 3.
Eva and Ivan Soloviev from Kazakhstan. And Ted, there was just a real, they have a clear concept. I'm not sure necessarily what it is, but they've got a real clear concept from costume to choreography, and they may not be the strongest skaters in the group, but they have gone with this theme and run with it, and I think a lot of effort has gone into the construction and composition of that program.
Absolutely. They stuck with it. I don't know if you noticed the delay in the jump up into the rotational lift. She just held that actually floating in there. He put his hands underneath, caught her. It was a very cool moment, very quick moment, but I love the commitment to the character for sure.
Well, that's well spotted, Ted. That's a new feature this year. It's a difficult feature as we see the 1 foot turns, and there the bracket. Doing right back outside rocker. Just have to press those edges. Cannot be any duration of time with it on a flat edge. An amazing range of flexibility from Eva to get the difficult feature here in the straight line lift. And this, the choreographic spinning movement. So couples must rotate at least 3 times for that to be callable. And that got this team.
He was just skating around her, you know, like it was a unique approach. He wasn't spinning himself. He was skating. She was spinning. So
and each
unique.
Yeah, each of the 7 different types of choreographic elements have a clear criteria for that to be called. As I say, must be clear 3 rotations, at least 3 continuous rotations in any hold on 1 foot or 2 feet. So interesting how they've adapted the rules, and I just hope a great experience for them as they send a signal home.
And you know what I was thinking of as I was watching them was like 2 characters out of Cirque du Soleil. Why?
Yes.
Because it was a bit quirky. They were dressed that way. They had personality. It was, you know, it was entertainment. So you know, regardless of how this is being judged and whatnot, they had a theme. They had characters. They costumed up, and they delivered it the way it was intended to be. Well done.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter that we got it or not, or we knew what it was. Maybe it was Cirque du Soleil, maybe it was something else. I should ask. That's my fault for not doing enough research. But but it's as to whether or not the judges can see that there is that intention. And I felt there was definitely an intention that was developed as well.
Yeah, hey, we're talking about it, so they did the right thing by creating something unique and special and making us think about it. So, you know, good for them. Congratulations. Skating skills, of course, that'll need some work and improvement as with every team here. And, you know, but more to come. Love the creativity and the commitment to the character. Let's take a look at the scores for the free dance for Eva and Ivan. 61.03. That is third in the free dance with a total competition score of 95.13. That'll also put them third overall in the competition for the moment. Our final team in Group 1, 13-year-old Louise Dupre and 16-year-old Tahari Tade Duque. 15th after the rhythm dance. And they'll need an 83.22 to take the lead.
France's Louise Tahari and Tahari Tadej, and Ted, I saw their coach after the rhythm dance, and obviously they were understandably upset. But interestingly, this team achieved more key points in the rocker foxtrot sequences than any other in the event, and their coach explained that had been such a focus for them. So in terms of goals coming into the event, total recognition by the technical panel. Obviously a fall in the twizzles yesterday was deeply disappointing, but I couldn't catch enough clips here. There were so many interesting moments and I couldn't get them all in. So that's testament to what they did.
I think this team has something special. I like this unity of this team. They're somehow connected in movement and with similar skills, both in difficulty and quality. Much more to come, but they are a good team. Take us through the program here, Mark.
And here, just catching the start of the program, looking at the depth of the strike as we see the twizzles, and obviously they had the nightmare really in the twizzles and the rhythm dance, so I wonder if that had dogged their brain space and practice this morning. But just a little wobble there for Tahari. Did well to minimize the damage of that. Here you'll see the jump entry. I think if that was the feature they're going for, as I said to you, that's the new element, or new feature. Shouldn't be a touch in the air. And here the choreo character step sequence, and really ramming home the presentation to the judges by getting right into their space at the start. And you know, that's testament to the kind of humans these guys are. They're not scared to push themselves forward, obviously. And I didn't catch the beginning of this rotational lift, but it was quite fabulous.
Yes, that'll be coming off your bonus.
Sorry.
That's okay. I really like this team. I know there's lots of work to be done. You can see that. But there's an elegance and an equality in this team. And a connection. And I think as their skills get stronger, as they reach out in innovation and creativity, which they will, of course, all French skaters do that at a certain point in their career, I think we'll see something more special in the years to come.
The coach also said that Gabriela Papadakis, Guillaume Cizeron had a disaster in their first Junior Grand Prix. So if they follow the footsteps of fellow French mates, then they'll do okay.
There you go. There you go. There's always hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, the journey that the top skaters in the world take. It starts here. It starts in the juniors. And they may not have identified themselves as leaders at the time. It's the journey that gets you there. It's a long one. Lots of hard work. Let's take a look at the scores. The free dance score is 68.15 for Louise Tahari, and that is third in the free dance with a total competition score of 109.45. Also overall, at least for the moment, in third place. A little disappointed with the scores. Your ability is higher, no question. But find out what the difference is, and you'll go back to work, and we'll continue to see great improvement.
And you know, it's easy for us to recognize that. And the coach made, as we see the starting lineup for this next group, the coach made that wonderful comparison with the Olympic champions, 5-time world champions, Gabriela Papadakis and Guillaume Cizeron, who apparently fell 3 times in their compulsory or the rhythm dance in their first Junior Grand Prix, and it didn't deter them from going on to great success. So it's just remembering that in the moment, or being mindful of that in the moment when you feel a bit deflated. That's not easy.
Yeah, and you know, in that team when we saw in the face, I'm not sure if it was deflated or if it was like, I'm not sure what words I'm allowed to use here. Or, you know, a bit frustrated or mad, or however you want to verbalize that. I said, no, that's not going to happen again. You want that in athletes,
yeah.
And I'm sure all great champions do have that attitude, like, okay, that's not good enough, I'm going to do better. Not too high, not too low. Keep yourself balanced.
And you know, ultimately, every single skater here in this competition will have competed multiple times in their skating career already to be just selected to get to represent your country at Junior Grand Prix. So they're competitive inherently by their nature, and everybody that's a competitor likes to win. So there's only going to be one of those. So sometimes a challenge.
Oh yeah, it is.
And we saw that there for the German team on our screen here now. They were so frustrated with the performance in Bangkok, and you could see still a little bit crestfallen after the rhythm dance scores. But I think the standard in this competition is high, and it's pretty even across the board, and that's why we've got that tight band of skaters or teams within a close proximity of one another. So it depends how many of them choose to see the opportunity in the tight results as, wow, there's movement potential, or, oh my goodness, I'm I don't know, 9th when I wanted to be in the top 5. So.
Well, your expectations, quite often if you haven't been on the Junior Grand Prix and you've competed domestically, you get certain scores domestically, and you come out to this, you go, whoa, okay, that's not what I was expecting. Now, there's some good news about that. That is, it makes you alert to, well, why didn't I get the scores that I thought I would get? What is that? They're going to look at that report card. They're going to talk with their coaches, and they'll probably speak with some judges as well. And so more details will come into view for them to understand what they have to do to get to the next level. So this is a learning ground between their expectations of where they're at and the reality.
Yeah, and as we look at the Georgian team now, she actually, Maria Eva, she was the interpreter yesterday for the interview for the Georgian team, Metalkina and Beralava, who won the pairs event. So obviously very impressive that in the junior category you can be a linguistic. But what I was going to remark upon as we look at the Polish team doing their 1 foot, during the break, Ted, I saw some clips online from the Lombardia Trophy, and there Charlene Guinard, Marco Fabri and some other great teams that are successful in the senior ranks. And it's hard to quantify, but just an increase in speed and energy. These teams look so energetic, and then you go see a senior team and you think, whoa, I didn't think you could have any more energy than what I saw here in Istanbul, and then you get that context against the seniors. So that, for some of them, is something that they can relish in training because they train in an environment with seniors, but certainly not for all.
Yeah, no question. And it is good to see. That's what's the great thing about the juniors now, is that you actually can watch it, which is great.
Yeah.
Then you'll see the seniors and you go, now I understand the difference, not only for the viewer, mostly for the athletes, to see, they look up to their heroes and say, okay, I want to be that one day. What do I need to do? It's constant evaluation and hard work.
Yeah, so
really
much hard work. And as a generalization, and I can't speak for all for sure, but the ice dancers do tend to put more hours in on the ice. And that's not to say that they're harder workers, just that the intensity of jumping on the body sometimes prevents you from training for prolonged periods, whereas the dancers, they can stay on the ice for 4 hours. But then not something that's possible for all, depending upon where they train or academic studies as well.
I don't know, you could get a couple of emails now.
I know, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. You're an ice dancer. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't measure that. So. But I'll defend you. Don't worry.
Thanks, mate.
But there is a lot of work on skating skills. And, you'd like to see that in other disciplines. I think the top single schools and pair schools do put an emphasis on skating skills. If you don't have that, in the end of the day, the tricks are only so much, only going to get you so much. So there is more time being spent on the basics for sure. And in dice dance, that is very much true. As they clear the ice, group number 2, 4 groups with 4 teams in each group. There'll be a nice resurfacing at the conclusion of this group. A few words and getting zoned in together.
Yeah.
A little smile there at the end. Our next team from Georgia, Maria Elieva and Yehor Barshak, 17 and 20 years of age, with a dance result. They are 11th. They need a 74.86 to take the lead. And they'll skate, at least at the end, to Jekyll and Hyde.
Georgia's Maria Aleva and Yehor Barshak, just amazing to think they've only been skating together for just 3 months. And as I said in the warm-up, Maria was the interpreter for the Georgian pair team who won. And they seem to have a great team, not just between themselves as an ice dance team, but also with the support of their compatriots who competed yesterday.
That is pretty amazing. Just, did you say 3 months?
Yeah, amazing.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. My gosh. That does not look like just 3 months. But they're strong individual skaters. You can see that. And maybe it was a little bit, reachy here and there because it's only been 3 months. But, wow, if they've accomplished that much that quickly, I'm going to wait to see what happens at the end of the year.
And on top of that, she works 2 jobs at the weekend to raise the funds to skate. So not just devoted to the training entirely. Amazing. And here, the twizzles. Immediately at this point, you could see lots of ice coverage, difficulty within the transition between first and second twizzle. Good flow and glide throughout. Understandably and somewhat inevitably, given the limited time that they've had, the quality of the skating skills diminished as they fatigue. But that's not a reflection on their quality, that's just time. And here...
Yeah, that's not to do with their skill. It's just to do with their preparation, which didn't have enough lead time.
Yeah, exactly. They struggled with the exit feature of the dance spin, and the technical panel just reviewing that now. Their camel spin feature for Yehor, nicely achieved this. Difficult combination of moves. You could just see they needed that twizzle in the bower, so coming in at a level 3 instead of the 4. Straight line left, upside down, and difficult hold. And there, the 1 foot dismount for Yehor again. This is the choreo slide. And again, what I love so much about the choreo elements is opportunity to see different choices for the teams. I was a bit worried that the rotational lift might go over time. They're allowed 7 seconds, took a while to get into position. But look at this, she found the camera. Like, Maria is
No, she
right
did. She knows where that is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. and the middle of the judges panel.
Yeah.
Right? So you're impacting those people as well. And you can see there's certainly a camaraderie here amongst the 3. Isn't that nice?
Well, Pierre, their coach, obviously said something to warrant him being included in the hug, so good work from him too.
Yeah, exactly. If she works 2 jobs, this is what she works for. These moments of friendship and unity, and it's worth it at this stage of her life. Great effort. Let's take a look at the free dance scores for Maria and Yehor. Wow, 2 jobs on the weekend.
Yep.
That's a busy schedule.
Special humans.
Yep. But you have a lot of jobs too. I think you have 3 jobs. I do too. 75.10 for Maria and Yehor. That's second in the free dance with a total competition score 124.76. And that will put them currently, for the moment, into first place. Our next team comes from Poland, 16-year-old Sophia Victor and 20-year-old Victor Kulza, 9th after the rhythm dance. And 75.25 is their personal best. They'll need a 74.45 to take the lead. They certainly have that ability as they will skate to Phantom of the Opera.
Sophia Dval and Victor Kolesza from Poland. And it's a challenge to take Phantom of the Opera, but so many intricate, difficult and challenging transitions and lots of real highlights. I think towards the end they fatigued a little bit, and the diagonal step sequence seemed to be hard work for the skaters. So I just hope that doesn't, lay heavy in the judges' mind when it comes to giving the components, because earlier there were some real special moments.
Yeah, I don't know whether you noticed Sylvia in the background.
Yes.
hugging that bear or choking that bear or something. So focused on the performance, and we see that a lot in ice dance with the coaches because they're creative dancers themselves, so they're moving with the dancers, or they're right into it.
And she was really sad they were all a bit sad after the rhythm dance because they've worked so hard, they were hoping for so much. So she was, how do I help my students? This choreo spinning movement, as I said, has to move through at least 3 rotations. Great element start to the program there. Similar to the rhythm dance, difficult entry, and a really difficult entry into the twizzles. Again, thinking of ways in which not just to get the level, but to attain the level in a more complex way for the pursuit of better GOE. And here in the rotation left, look at the commitment to her extension, her foot gloriously pointed.
And sometimes I wonder whether the degree of difficulty of some of the teams is accurate within the system that we have.
Yeah.
We look at this, I think Tessa and Scott did that 2010 Olympics. I can't remember what it was called, the swan or something special.
Eagle or something, I don't know. I remember they was given a name.
The duck, I'm not sure, but I can't remember. But yeah, some beautiful moves here, and you're right, there's some really difficult entries and exits and innovations, and I wonder whether it reflects all the difficulties that there is. But anyways, I guess you can't have too many.
Well, and I suppose,
too many features.
Yeah, and I suppose they're going, there are much easier ways to find level 4 than what Sophia Victor chose. But maybe later in the season,
that's my point.
With more time, then they'll get the benefit of the GOEs. But at the moment, it's still a little bit scrappy because it's still early season.
Okay, you promise? Okay, good. That's good.
Oh, she's closing her eyes in prayer.
77.81. That is first in the free dance. Have to be happy with that so far. I think she is with a 128.13. Total competition score. There you go. Sophia and Victor will take over first place at this stage of the competition. Our next team comes from Canada. 17-year-old Dana Sabatini Special, 16-year-old Nicholas Bulot, 10th after the rhythm dance. And they have 79.15 as their personal best. They'll need a 77.96, certainly in their capacity to do so, as they'll skate to Love by Women. A piece by Josh Crow.
Really beautiful, beautiful choreography, and nothing but huge respect for Dana and Nicholas. And Ted, in this free dance, I was so enjoying the opening, which had such a different vibe and feel with the musicality that they had, and then suddenly I found myself realizing that we're watching something completely different musically and emotionally, and they carried us on a journey throughout it, and I thoroughly enjoyed every part of it.
This was the program this team was looking for to show what they're capable of. This was really beautifully delivered and wonderfully choreographed and executed on this day.
Absolutely. And you know, at this point in the choreo character step, you can see how perfectly like this. I was smart. Look at Dana giving it here, like a little bit sassy, a little bit cheeky, mischievous, and then that's where I was so impressed by their storytelling capabilities, because then I found myself enjoying something romantic and delicate, and they just took us on that journey.
Yeah, they were convincing today, which is a wonderful quality. And of course, is the technical side as well. Their personal best 79.15. They'll need a 77.96 to take the lead. We'll find out how close they come to both those scores. But regardless, they have to be very happy with that performance. Beautiful camel spin, layback, just wonderful. And like a statue in motion.
Yeah, and here we see, you know, the still refinement that can be made. The skating skills not as strong as perhaps some that we have seen. This was great teamwork. She was going for the musicality, the musical note, but they made sure she didn't go for it. Yeah,
yeah.
He was safe.
Yeah, she waited just a second to get the crescendo.
Yeah. And Dana's Instagram handle is Dana Loves Skating. So she loves it, and she's here. Oh gosh.
There's a picture of Alexander Paul, who passed away in a car accident just a little while ago with Mitch Ism, her husband, and their child. It's such a sad moment. And we celebrate her life and send our very best to both families.
And well done, Dana.
75.44. That is third in the free dance with a total competition score of 125.62, and that will move them for the moment into second place overall. Well done. The next team represents Germany, 16-year-old Alexia Cook and 18-year-old Jan Eisenhaber, 12th after the rhythm dance. 75.54 is their personal best. They'll need a 79.83 to take the lead. They earned that in Bangkok, hoping to improve in that score here right now.
Well, they delivered a much stronger rhythm dance in Istanbul than in Bangkok, and they've done the same again with the free dance. I'm delighted to see the connection between the team. It looks like Alexia has high expectations, high standards. She wasn't overjoyed with the score yesterday. Hopefully, this will come close to their personal best of 72.23, if not much higher.
Yeah, you need to have that feistiness, if you will, to drive you to be better, and you're going to be a little grumpy when things don't go well, or the scores aren't what you expect or want. But it drives you forward and it makes you better. And they came off of Bangkok, were not happy, improved obviously here. But in the end of the day, it's going to be them measuring themselves against themselves. Let's see if their scores are going to be higher than Bangkok as we take a look. Mark, you take us through these replays.
Yeah, and again, choosing some difficult features to get the level here within the Twizzles. There's a low, no, maybe just at the end of the rotation there for Alexia. Maybe that's the reaction that she's got to the performance, such as her expectations here. Choreo character step. So that this choreo element is given a base value of 1.1, and it's the couples in quality of it which can boost the score so seismically. So they've added more than the value of the element in the grade of execution because they were so committed. So an extra 1.5 for that.
She's pretty fierce in her presentation, and she plays that role beautifully.
And good use of the skirt, akin to what we saw from Mrazkova and Mrazek last year in the rhythm dance, really utilizing the skirt throughout to enhance the composition. And that dynamic finish, so good.
And that's a perfect example. We talked about the costumes doesn't have any points to it, but it does enhance the performance and does matter.
Totally. I was wrong, Ted. Their personal best from last year was 72. They did score 75 in Bangkok, but I think they've showcased improvements beyond that now.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be an upgrade from Bangkok. Should be happy with that. It's a long season. This is the first two competitions. Their eyes are clearly on Junior Worlds, perhaps, or other competitions coming up as well. And the question will be, how do you continue to get better when your standards are so high? Just one day at a time, and you have to work hard. And you can see the coach trying to bolster their thoughts, and you can shaking a smile out of her. Come on, let's go. Let's get a smile here.
I suppose the challenge for this
there
team,
you go.
Oh, there we go. We've got it. Was that Graham and Savitsky couldn't complete Junior Worlds, so they didn't get a top 10 spot, which would have been expected if that team who won last week had been able to complete World Championships. So less representation for German teams next year. So, the pressure on Kruk and Eisenhaber to snare one of those spots.
Yeah.
So, again,
what are you thinking there, Mark?
Yeah, I'm just looking now to make the comparisons, and it looks like an extended lift has happened again. So we've seen that already today for some of the teams. So they've gone over that 7 second that they're allowed, not happening on the curve lift. So they get that mandatory 1 point deduction. Could that be really costly?
Yes. Unfortunate. They'll have to, they will have to discover that on the report card as they look at that following the event. Season's best, 76.98. That is third. At least they're happy with that season's best. That's third also in the competition at this point for 125.29. And when they realize that extended lift is costly, lesson learned moving forward.
Oh, there already? Ice resurface time? Wow, it's flown by.
Yeah. Okay, see, finally, you got out of sync there, too, because that was me all during last night. We'll take a look at the standings so far after the first two groups. There they are. And we have the final 8 teams will come to the ice after the ice resurfacing. But first, we have some videos for you. What are they there, Mark?
So if you've got an insight and an interest in seeing what happens on the technical panel, stay tuned to see Ingrid Walter, the German technical controller, who gave us a day in the life of her work as a technical controller. And then, as we're in the dance event, let's listen to the interviews from the winners already on the series so far. First with Daria Grimm and Mikhail Savitsky that I've just mentioned, the German champions last week. and then Leah Nasset and Artem Markelov, the winners of the first Junior Grand Prix in Bangkok this year.
There you go. Should be interesting. We'll be right back after this.
You're not sure we're perfectly normal. Yeah, okay. I wasn't so sure yesterday either. After the event. Hi everybody, I'm Ingrid Charlotte Walter. I'm an ISU technical controller for ice dance and an ISU referee for ice dance singles and pairs. And my job here in the Junior Grand Prix in Linz is the technical controller for ice dance. So we are here sitting together, the so-called technical panel. We have the job of looking at the elements all the couples, dance couples have in their program, and in finding out what kind of features they do, because the elements themselves can be made more difficult and get a higher value by having more and difficult features. Exit. I question the split. Yes, question mark, no. So this is a lot of material one has to take in very, very quickly. And that is why we sit in the practice time and try to find and see what they are doing. We write that down in a kind of shorthand, which every person devises for him or herself. For instance, I draw a lot. You can see that later on the sheets we have, whereas others just do it in numbers, which frightens me. I couldn't do that, but there are number people, so that would be fine for them. And when it comes to the competition, we transfer the elements and the features onto the competition sheet. Of course, no level at all, because we have to see what of what could be there is really performed. And that is then what we mark down. But it speeds up everything very quickly. Usually we have two technical specialists. These are my two colleagues, Roxanne and Helen. And the one calls mainly the man and the other mainly the woman. And if we have, for instance, a spin in which both are involved, it is the specialist one who does the call of the level. Also to the team belong the data operator. He puts in the levels and the elements we call into the program and the software, so that the judges on their judges stand get the elements in the right order on their screen, because they have to evaluate the quality. And we have a video cutter, of course, because we have one whole program of 3 to 4 minutes, and we just need the little clips, which are also used to review by the judges and by us, whatever is shown. And so the video cutter cuts as soon as we say this element is coming up. That is one of the technical specialists always says, next element, and then the element they know, they can prepare what they have to cut. And then the specialist one says the element when it starts. As soon as the program is finished, again, the data gives us the number of elements, also on which we called a review. A review is something we call when we are not quite sure whether it was really seen what we saw. For instance, we have two people on the ice, and in a step sequence, one of them could well hide the steps of the other by just being there, obviously. So then we would need, as an example, a review to see whether we can really have a look at the other steps. If not, we go with what we have seen and go always with the skater. I think that completes the whole process. I'm afraid it was more than 3 sentences. Never mind, we can cut.
Here in Linz in the Kiss and Cry with the dance champions in week 2 in the Junior Grand Prix, Daria Grimm and Mikhail Savitsky of Germany. Now, what a story. I mean, last year you were in Calgary at the Junior World Championships. You skated the rhythm dance, but you didn't get to skate the free dance, so that was really disappointing. You had a great season last year. First time out this season, you take the title. How does it feel?
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it always feels great to win, obviously.
Yeah.
It feels great that we could deliver our programs pretty well this time, even with the lack of preparation that we had. I feel like we did a pretty good job, and it feels really good. The atmosphere here in Linz is perfect. I couldn't do it any better.
Tell us about the new program that you've got this year. What do you like about this program?
I like pretty much everything because I think it suits us. Well, the rhythm dance really suits us, and the free program is something new, so we try to do it our best. But yeah, I think the programs are quite good, and I really like them.
Now, you know, the 1980s theme, you guys weren't around, that's for sure, 1980s. Unfortunately, I was alive. You know, it's a long time ago. Did you do any research on the 80s?
Yeah, of course. We watched movies where they danced a lot. We watched many videos about the 1980s to see how they moved, what dance moves they had, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variety when it comes to 80s, so you can't really like pick one. It's because there's just so many. But we try to look at as many as possible and see what's good for us and what suits us, and then yeah.
Was the film black and white or was it color? That's pretty old. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, look. Yeah, it was color. Okay, that's good. Okay, what do you most like about your partner?
His breakdance moves.
No, I mean like about his personality, not his breakdance moves. Okay, but that might be good too. But okay, what do you like about his personality?
I don't know. I think.
You don't know?
No, because I like everything. No, I like his like
That's a good
humor.
answer.
I think we're pretty similar. So like, I don't know. I just like him.
Okay, well that's good enough. How about you?
I like the way she manages to bond with me, because not many people can do that. And
Yeah, that's strange. Is that why it's very difficult?
I'm not strange. You know, she just does it on another level.
I just get him.
Well, you guys are a wonderful team. You know, you really are. It's very special to watch the program. We're so happy for you to hold up that gold medal there. You know, the champions here in Linz, and where will we see you next? I think in Budapest. Is that right?
No, in
No,
Gdansk.
Oh, in Gdansk. Okay, well that's even better.
Last year.
Yes.
We'll be there this year too.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, congratulations on this one.
Thank you
Absolutely
so much.
outstanding. Diagram and Mikhail Savitsky of Germany, the champions here at Linz. Here in Bangkok, Thailand, with the ice dance champions, 17-year-old Leah Nesat and 20-year-old Artem Markelov of the United States. Now, I remember watching you the first time last season on the Junior Grand Prix, and I was so shocked because I hadn't seen you before. You had something really unique and special. I really loved your performance, but you've improved that much more. And I think there's something very special about your couple. Can you explain what you think that might be?
First of all, thank you so much for the kind words. I think we're just trying to connect on ice and try to skate as one person, and that's what makes us special.
And your thoughts?
I agree.
One word answer. I agree. That's it. You're so beautiful with every edge, such deep knees, deep edges, beautiful interpretation of the music. How would you, and I saw the practice earlier this morning, it was just breathtaking. How was your performance in the competition today compared to that practice?
We're overall happy that we were able to show new programs and try to show the idea, but we obviously have a lot more potential and a lot of room for improvement, and we would like to show it in the future events.
Okay, I'm going to ask you what you like most about your partner.
I would say his work ethic.
Oh, that's a good one. That's nice. And what do you like most about your partner?
She's very kind.
Oh, you guys are good. You're really good. Well, congratulations here. Do you know what other Junior Grand Prix you'll be going to?
Yes, we're going to go to Junior Grand Prix in Japan.
In Japan. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you there. Congratulations on your win here. The champions here in Bangkok for the ice dance.
So the final resurface has taken place, and now we head to the last two groups, and they're the starting order for this penultimate group on the final day at the Junior Grand Prix here in Istanbul.
As we wind down week number 3 on the Junior Grand Prix and then begin to wind up for week number 4 in Osaka. And that's going to be a new experience for both Mark and I, both working remotely, but that's going to be fun. We've got a good plan and looking forward to getting on in the rink with you, Mark. That's going to be some fun. We'll have to have some hijinks, I think, and entertain the fans and tell some stories, and also hopefully out of Yerevan be able to give a wrap-up to what we saw this season on the Junior Grand Prix, and we'll take a look back as well. So lots more to come on the Junior Grand Prix. It seems like a long ways in, but no, we're not even halfway yet.
And I think the Gdansk and Yerevan will be so exciting, because then skaters will be really vying for hot spots at the final, and perhaps for many of them it will be, either their national federations consider them for those coveted spots on Junior World stage as well. So, the excitement only intensifies the further into the season we get.
It gets really exciting as we look at the young team here. Some really, really nice skills. As you had mentioned yesterday, they had been working together for, what did you say, 8 years already?
8 years. And
incredible.
In the resurface break, I saw Olivia's father, and I said, "Oh, you okay?" Because he was pacing the corridor outside the changing room, just waiting for the team to be prepared. And I said, "Are you okay?" I said, "It must be doubly hard because you're coach and father." And he just said, "Yes, absolutely." And I thought, I can't even imagine the kind of, I don't know, so many, watch a gamut of emotions that will fall there for the team there. But the overwhelming want and desire for your students to do well is huge, for your student and your child.
Yeah, it's a mix, and I imagine everybody, or many people that are watching this, are parents of kids in skating, and kids as well. And to understand what the parent goes through, and then add to that the coaching of the skater, it's really quite remarkable. It probably takes a social study,
yes,
or interviews and discussions with those parents that have been coaches and parents of their children at the same time. So I mean, it's an unusual dynamic, but we see it quite often in skating, really.
Well, in the previous break between the conclusion of the men's event and the dance event, I saw Minkyusio, the winner of the men's competition, his mother, who's also his coach, and she was on the phone home. I suspect it was home, bawling her eyes out, crying with emotion, and it's just such a
it's a double whammy to be the parent, especially in good times and bad times. So you get hit by the coaching aspect of it, and you get hit by the mom aspect of it, either positive or negative. So it's a very emotional roller coaster to play both roles.
And, thinking of the couples that we see now, and then Minkyusio, the winner of the men's event, he didn't have a good first event, so then there's all the pressures and intensities and emotion for the last 2 weeks building up towards the event, and that's sometimes the case then for the skaters now. For the Czech team that are on your screen now, Andrea Jackie and Hakim Novak, they quite experienced, but still all off-season will have been gearing towards competing on the Junior Grand Prix. So the build-up and the anticipation is like a pressure cooker for emotion.
And each of these teams or skaters only compete twice in the Junior Grand Prix. And so as long as it takes to get here, it's gone so quickly. And then they move on to, of course, to domestic and other international competitions. But the series, the ISU series, either junior or senior, is prestigious, and it's a goal to work towards.
This is a great example from Ombre Samuel, Gina Parallel, and Samuel Blake-Clapham. That was really great depth of edge through a section in the circular step sequence. They have really good skating skills. As we see Andrea Jackie just working that right outside twizzle, tapping the tummy muscles just to make sure that the core is engaged, and she survives when they're needed. Here we go again. Oh no. Ooh. Oh, now. Okay, so this is the juncture where the coach needs to step in and give her some mental support, if not, a correction.
And you can see this is riding on her mind. She's really concerned about that reverse twizzle. I mean, because everybody has a natural rotational direction, and then you have to twizzle in the opposite direction. Wow, that is
nasty.
Physically challenging and mentally challenging as well.
Nobody likes to rotate their non-natural weight. Just doesn't feel nice.
Just a twizzle for me would be actually challenging holistically. Here we go. Third group on the ice. Final two groups of competitors on week number 3 on the Junior Grand Prix. As we enter the fall season, next team comes from Mexico. Harlow Lanella Stanley, Makita Sosnenko, 16 and 19 years of age. They're 8th after the rhythm dance. Their personal best is 60.79 in the free dance, but they'll need a 77.06 to take the lead. And they'll skate to Caught in the Rain by Beth Hart and Love is a Lie.
Harlow Lanella Stanley and Nikita Sosnenko. And this team, I think, has improved so much, particularly Harlow's fundamental skating skills. They work on real basic drills, as you see the support from possibly family here. Alexia Philip, Elena Novak, drill quality in their students, and that's evident in the way that they now move. More united as a team as one, but obviously the Twizzles here will be about 5.5 points lost just in that one element, Ted.
Yeah, that was their nemesis here in this program, because other aspects of it were, very nice, very well done. The 1 foot steps in level 2 for both partners. So, but the Twizzles, that was costly.
Yeah, and
here's the.
You can see here, Ted, I just thought at the very opening, as we've started each group, you've seen just that little bit of increase in speed and flow and glide, and that's what made me recognize the progress and improvements that Harlow and Makita have made. He worked hard here, making the stationary into rotational lift combination. And we didn't catch the Twizzles. We don't need to see the Twizzles. It's not a mistake that is a reflection of their abilities, but you can see just missing the hand grab here, starting to tighten up. And the consequence of the mistake, not only the technical element scored, like I say, about 5.5 points lost, but obviously then it does dampen a little bit the presentation. However, again, it's like we see with the single skaters. When a mistake is made, we can see beyond that. It's very evident that this team has worked incredibly hard in the off-season, and they have improved, and hopefully they'll be able to showcase that by the end of the season by World Juniors. They were 30th last year. They should be moving significantly up the rankings this season.
Yeah, and although we have to recognize a mistake or what we saw in front of us, we also want to make sure that we see the advancements and the improvements, and so you give a good balance of where this team or any of the skaters are going. We have to look at today. We'll talk about today, but we'll also talk about the future. What do we see? How do we see the abilities and the talents and where the stage of development is? So this team has really improved, and they're quite striking on the ice.
Yeah.
And they're powerful. There's a mistake in the Twizzles. That'll be costly, but the rest of it is coming along quite nicely.
And, great to see them in their second season as a team together, and that's what we've discussed on the rhythm dance. It's such a necessity, and they've got a very different skating education from their early skating days, and now they need that time to make it harmoniously moving as one with the same fundamental technique. So making sure that every angle of every push is ultimately matched perfectly, and that's what you see when you see the seasoned teams at Senior Worlds that have been together for over a decade.
Yeah, this is just part of the painful process of building into the best that you can be. It just is never ending. It's one of the things that becomes addictive. You make so many errors and mistakes along the way that when you get the victory, it feels so good, you chase the next one. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Let's take a look at the free dance scores. 68.49, that is 7th in the free dance, with a total competition score of 119.57, and that'll put Harlow, Nella, and Makita currently in the 6th place overall at this stage. Our next team is from the United States. 14-year-old Olivia Dylan and 15-year-old Dylan Kane. 7th after the rhythm dance. And will need a 76.45 to take the lead. A young, very talented team, very exciting future. And they'll skate the free dance right now here on the Junior Grand Prix to Pink Flames by Carl Hugo. Fire on Fire by Sam Smith.
Great choreo spinning movement to conclude the free dance, and there a hug based on 8 years of friendship and hard work together for Olivia Dylan and Dylan Kane. And Ted, I saw them, Ted. I remember seeing them maybe a couple of years ago on the On Ice Perspectives, a social media post, when they were so cute and bubbly and vivacious with the music they had. This free dance here, as their teammates cheer them on, such a jump into, this is a statement of we're junior, we are more mature, we're ready to be considered as juniors, and real respect to them for being able to pull off a much more mature delivery.
As I watched that program, I concentrated to watch Dylan, and I'm just amazed at how he was in perfect position all the time, always framed her beautifully. Look at the unison here. They just have worked so long together. They know where each other is all the time. Beautiful. Carry on, Mark.
Well, but it's so interesting to hear you saying about you watched Dylan, because I was compelled to watch Olivia the whole time. I found her so ethereal in her movement, but he obviously allowed us, he was the perfect frame for her to do that. And so that, testament to the teamwork and everything that we've said about other teams as we see the straight line lift. This Choctaw and the crossover there, the outside Mohawk, kind of simple, holds used, relatively simple choreography within the step here, but that tactical to try to see if that back inside counter will be callable. And I'm sure that the ethos behind that and this choreo spinning movement, love that.
Beautiful.
Choreo by Greg Zerlin. And great teamwork, and well done, Dad.
Yeah, really. And this is really going to be a fun team to watch every time out. All the teams are, no question, but this team has something at this stage, at least, have something new, something, look at that. That's just beautiful. As they hold hands to wait for the scores, it's a true team. And they skate as one. They're looking to beat their 76.45, which is the leading score at this moment.
Sometimes it seems like an eternity, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. There it is, 83.12. And there's the smile from Olivia. Yeah.
Yay.
Look at that. 134.81 total competition score. Some tears of joy and a hug from Dad. Wow, amazing as they take over the lead.
It's like a special picture moment. There's like a life picture moment just there.
It is. Yeah, and Dylan's sitting down there. Okay, that's... Gotta love the juniors. Well, the next team comes from Canada, or from France, pardon me. Ombre Giacchini and Samuel Blanc-Klapperman. They'll need 83 to take the lead.
Ombre Samuel, Gina Sini and Samuel Blank-Klapperman. It's similar to the rhythm dance, perhaps the exhaustion from competing in back-to-back assignments as we saw them in Austria last week. So it looked tight, there were wobbles and bobbles, but partly it could be because they competed last week, partly it could be because the depth of the knee bend is like, it blows my mind how committed they are to deep, soft knees and ankles.
Yeah, and you could see it on the entrance to the twizzle. Samuel almost lost his head because it was so deep. He had a great save on that. And I love that in the spin, it was a spinning move. I don't know if you picked that up. She was looking away outside the spin and then turned her head softly towards him. It was a beautiful moment, but a very brief moment. Subtle and sensitive.
And I don't know if it's the hair, but she reminds me of Canadian ice dancer Marjorie Lajoie. And they already have a senior quality in the movement. And they're actually younger than they look. They're only 16, but when even the angle of the free leg extension, the point, that's so worked. Matching like that is so worked. And look at the rise and fall of their knees, down deep, rise down again after the back inside counter, down for his back choctaw. It's just such good quality. You can see the angle of their blade as it hits the ice, that rocker from him. Oh, so good.
You appreciate a good rocker, right?
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You described that beautifully because the rise and fall of the knee is so important in all of skating, let alone ice dance. You really need that. And this team clearly had demonstrated that. Yeah, you're right. Has a little bit of resemblance to Marjorie Lajoie from Canada. And they all need, personal best is 81.49. They need an 83 to take the lead. They're going to come really close to that. This was a good program. Maybe not the way they wanted to have it. I'm not sure how Samuel feels about this. Maybe it was that little entrance mishap into the twizzles. But overall, I think they're going to have a pretty good score.
And it's that kind of like pushing, living on the edge. Like their depth of knee, their commitment to every stroke being like that is like putting in a quad toe and you've got a 50% success rate. It's like they're gambling, dicing with danger at that kind of level.
Well, we talked about that. In order to be really effective in anything, but particularly in ice dance, you have to push to the edge of disaster, but don't cross it.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that close, then, it's average. It's okay. It's really nice. It's really good. But when you get that depth of edge and the power and the speed, and it doesn't look risky, but something special is happening. It's a very fine balance, and you have to work your way to get to that point slowly.
They train in Lyon, which when I was competing was such the hotbed for talent. That was like the Montreal of the time, and it's great to see new rising talent coming out of there again with such a bright future.
And here are the free dance scores for Ombre and Samuel. 88.04, a big expression. Season's best. They're going, whoa, look at that. Ombre's going 139.86.
Like, come on.
She's thrilled. He's barely cracking a smile, but he's kind of pleased. He doesn't want to show too much as they take over the lead with a 139.86. Well done.
It is like La Joie Lagarde, that same kind of energy.
Yeah, yeah. And he's just kind of calm there, just sitting there.
Chilling.
Our next team comes from the Czech Republic, 15-year-old Andrea Cerna and 16-year-old Jackie Novak. 6th after the rhythm dance. They're going to need an 88.08 to take the lead. They had a 65.71 last season on the Junior Grand Prix. They're going to skate to music from David Arnold.
What a shame. Heading into their choreographic lift, it was going to be an absolute highlight of the free dance. Such a shame for Andrea Sona and Achim Novak from the Czech Republic. And that's a team that, scored a monstrously big new personal best in the rhythm dance and potentially en route to that. It just started to fumble. They were miscatching a little bit before it. What a shame.
And it was interesting, Mark. I was thinking during I thought, wow, this is a complicated program because of the intricacy of the transitions into and out of these elements. I love the creativity, but you run the risk at that. That's like pushing to the limit. And so they paid the price there. But I love the effort to be creative, innovative, and create difficulty on the entrances and the exits.
And they hit that musical accent there in the straight line lift into the rotational lift, choosing to do the combination of two, coming at level 4 for both. And this extension there in between, really nice. Sheena misses the catch, so drops one level as a feature there. But having seen the warm-up, we saw that right outside Twizzle being so problematic for her in warm-up, so I think she'll be relieved to have done that. And actually, really impressive call on the step sequence for Achim. He had the level 3 assigned to the serpentine step. Now, the technical panel will review that now. It seemed that after that, it was on the 1 foot. We need a wee bobble into the Twizzle as we look at the difficult exit for the spin. Here, ooh,
Yeah. And you don't practice how do I recover from a fall like that? How do I pick it up and get into the lift? And that just stumbled to the end of the program. But listen, this is a good team. They're pushing themselves for difficulty and content and innovation, and it was a little bit rough here today. But certainly as this program begins to smooth out, they'll see the benefits of that in time.
And I feel the same as Janacini and Klapperman. They are younger than they look, only 15 and 16. So we will see such development as juniors before they take the climb to the senior ranks. And as I said, in the rhythm dance, Czech ice dance led by Mrazkova Mrazek. They're now in the senior ranks. They're competing now at Lombardia Trophy. And I'm sure that's constant inspiration for this Czech team. But then it kind of gives you a different perspective. When you're the pioneer for the nation, like the Mexicans, you've not got as much to reference against. For these guys, they're referencing against the junior world champions.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, they'll be a little bit disappointed with this, but they're pushing to follow in the footsteps, of the other teams that have gone before them. That's a good thing. And they had a bit of a mishap today, but their future's bright.
And the family involvement, Matej Novak, the coach, he's so experienced as a skater himself, so he'll be using all of his sort of competitive juices from his own experiences to push this team. So, I think that's what we often see. We see parents and family members as coaches because they've got that doubly vested interest to enhance and improve the skaters.
Yeah, and if they can just work the relationship and, which is, be involved, don't necessarily be too bossy, but it's a fine balance. It's different for everyone for sure. So word choice and timing matters, as we've mentioned before, but particularly in a family situation.
And credit,
they just go ahead.
I was just going to say credit to them for getting up and getting a 3-second lift and getting that element still called despite the mistake.
Yeah. Well, 65.71 is their personal best. But as I mentioned, that came last season. So and they have that one fall deduction. And here's the score, 67.98. That is 11th in the free dance. Not happy with that. I can understand that totally with a 119.77. And that'll put Andrea and Jackie currently into 8th place overall. Final group of this event coming up in just a few moments as they take to the ice for their warm-up. And I think, Mark, we would like to, as we take a look at the start order for this group, like to thank the Turkish Federation and all the volunteers that help pull this together, and the ISU for all the staff that they have worked so hard on putting this together, and of course our production crew. They're with you in the room, Rosa, and Naomi, and Simone, and Giorgio, and the whole crew, everybody. Missing somebody.
They've not all got their headsets on to know how much they're appreciated. But yes, we heart the team here in the room, and
they do a wonderful job. And it's not always easy. I mean, you people, folks at home watching, you're watching this and you're enjoying this, but to get it to this point is very complicated. It takes a dedication of an incredible group of people that work late into the night just to get the social media up and to get this stuff going. And you know, we have the easy job. We love it. We have the easy job in getting to watch our passion and talk about it as well. So we certainly thank the crew for all the hard work that they are doing for the ISU that allows us to do this. So thank you to everybody, and we look forward to 4 more great weeks.
Well said, Ted. Well said. And you know, if I could switch the camera from the ice to this room here, their still heads are down and they're busy working away, as you say, and it's not something that I ever appreciated when I wasn't on site or before I joined this team, how much does go on. And we're always aware of what's right in front of us, you know, so this room right now, I'm aware of all the people in here, but like you say, you've got, you know, Bieland and all the crew that facilitate this, the Swiss timing people, just an army of people.
The Swiss timing people have become an extended family for me, for sure, because I've worked with them for 10 years, and growing up, I guess I'm really old, but you know, whatever, you know, we work together, and it's such a wonderful family within the ISU, and all the officials as well. So I mean, it is about the skaters. That's why we're here. But in order to watch this team on the ice that you're watching right now, it takes a huge group of people all over the world to make this work, and we thank all of them.
And you know, people that are literally putting their lives on hold to traverse the globe from week to week, they're putting their life on hold for 7 weeks to make this happen.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm not sure they put the life on hold because this is their life.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, the Ukrainian team, who not quite sure what the expectations have. Chatted to them as to what their aspirations were. The most experienced, Jeffrey Chen, who leads with his new partner Jelle Peterson, obviously incredibly experienced himself, but that a new partnership. This partnership of Maria and Makita may have been looking for gold and may indeed take it. It'll be interesting to see if they can close the gap between them and the Americans. It's just under 3 points between them.
Yeah, and you know, can you make that up? Well, a mistake will certainly open the door if Peterson and Chen from the United States make a mistake. But if they skate clean, it's a little bit more difficult. We'll see what happens, of course.
Ted, I've got to say, Bieland has just come into the room and passed me all the biographies for next week, which I requested from yesterday. And now, so I'm prepped for the flight home to take notes on all the skaters, which is my opportunity to shout out to anybody listening that's competing next week. Please let us know your stories. Please let us know your...
Do you mean Dylan, your secretary, your personal secretary?
How does that happen?
What is that all about?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to speak to him about this because I'm doing my own work here. No, I just kidding.
Yeah. What a cheeky
great.
upstart I am.
You're going to be in your garage.
Yep.
I'm going to be in a hotel in Montreal as we cover this. And I know that's, you know, kind of weird, but I said, Junior Grand Prix research and development. We're finding ways that we can continue to cover and bring this to you wherever we are in the world, better on site. And we will do that starting in Budapest. But next week, it'll be something new, not done before, at least by us, on the Junior Grand Prix. Looking forward to the challenge.
Absolutely. Great curve lift there from the Swiss team. Now, interesting that the schedule of the events can change from competition to competition, so interesting for the dancers to be saved to be the last event here in Istanbul, and you know, the adrenaline, the nerves for these 8 skaters will have been mounting and mounting throughout the day.
Yeah, and I think the dancers finished earlier in both Linz and Bangkok. I don't know can't remember the schedule for Osaka. But I would think that the women will finish last in Osaka.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Maybe it's the country has some input into that as well. Here we go. Final group, final 4 teams, week number 3 on the Junior Grand Prix.
Just called over by the referee. Well spotted. Just making sure everybody's safety is paramount importance.
Well, there they are, our very first team in the final group. 19-year-old Julia Isabella Paulino and 20-year-old Andrea Jackie. They were in Bangkok. Their personal best score at the free program was 79.31. They're going to need to top that score, most certainly, if they wish to take over the lead. And the moment is right now.
Andrea Tuba shouting a resounding yes. He was so vocal after the rhythm dance. He was so joyful in celebration, and again jubilant here to have given a clean free skate. He was fatiguing towards the end and just about made it through.
Yeah, you love it when you see real outward passion. I'll put it that way, because I think everybody's passionate about what they do, but for him, he wears his heart and his passion right on his shoulders for everyone to see.
And Andrea skated with this sister for many years. There's a new partnership, only 8 months together, and really bright future, and they seem to be gelling so well. Interestingly, Julia has explained that it was her dream to compete for Italy for many years, and she was so delighted to have had that experience in Bangkok, and now using that experience to deliver better here. A chance to look at the serpentine, the diagonal step sequence. Andrea given a level 3, so 4 clean turns assigned to him. See if we agree there. Forward inside count, a little scratch of the blade, tiny scratch there, maybe making that not callable here. The right inside bracket. You can see the back chopped after it, depth of edge really good. Slipped slightly here, that could have been problematic, but they disguised it well. Interesting, as we look at the 1 foot, the team explained to me that they have meditation and breathing exercises to help clear their minds, and I thought that's the kind of professionalism of sporting approach that is now stepping into ice dance. It's not just physical, it's not just mental, it's a holistic spiritual approach to making sure you can deliver the best at the given time.
Well, there's so much that you have to give. Okay, physically is obvious, but the emotional output as well, connection to the music and performance, and the emotional output to help support one another. It's exhausting, I think, emotionally for these athletes. And so to be in a calm space and to be a clean slate as they enter the competition, so important. And everyone will have their own way to do that.
So we've seen, I think, all the competitors that are in their second Junior Grand Prix assignment, I think, have gone up on their scores. It's just 79.31, as you said, Ted, from 2 weeks ago in Bangkok. I think it's better than it was then, but it also seems that perhaps there have been a few more favourable calls. The step sequence, like I said, getting a level 3, that's much more positive review by the tech panel here than maybe we saw in Linz and in Bangkok, so that's aiding that technical score.
Yeah, we did talk about that. The technical panels are very consistent in the competition that they're at, but it's not necessarily always the same in each competition. You have a different panel. Let's take a look at the scores. Season's best, 84.70. And he really wears it for Julia, Isabella, and Andrea, 141.37. And they take over the lead. And there are 3 teams to come. So is it enough? I don't know. They're going to wait. They're going to wait backstage and see, will they grab a medal? It's possible. He'll be sitting on pins and needles, that's for sure. Our next team represents Switzerland. Gina Gender and Perrellion Sieber, 18 and 19 years of age, 4th after the rhythm dance, 68.99 is a personal best. They'll need an 86.03.
Incredible. I think we've lost Ted. Ted will join us again as soon as possible there. The Swiss teammates cheering them on. They said that they were just beyond excited to be back at the Junior Grand Prix, and no wonder given what they have been working on. They obviously knew long ago that they would impress, but their personal bests are going to be beyond smash. Here, the first turn and the 1 foot turns must be done at the same time by both, but thereafter that, not necessary. And so you can see you're doing their brackets at different times, different edges, very difficult to do. Gina, I think, had a harder combination of turns there. This straight line lift, getting attention on Instagram for, you know, dancers around the world. I've seen it posted by many, respected by people beyond the skating community, choosing to stop within the twizzles, the first and the second. That's something I've never seen done before. Makes me want to review it again. And this curve lift, just brilliant. The timing of their arms extending at the same time, forcing that creative execution. And here the choreographic lift, again, forcing those big grades of execution. Congratulations to Cornelia Leroy and Eliska Philip, who must have really ignited some massive inspiration in these skaters to make that improvement rate. They had higher program component scores in the rhythm dance than the Italians, who ultimately finished above them, so the technical score for them is important as well. From what we can see, it's looking like it's going to be a resounding lead for Gina and Beda. And indeed, might they put pressure on the Ukrainians? They are 4 points behind the experienced Ukrainians, but still, it's looking like it could be a really big score here. As I said yesterday, they were selected to skate at Junior Worlds 2 seasons ago, but were injured. And then last year didn't make the cut, so they've had challenges already, and now maybe we're seeing the end of that, coming through those challenges, working harder, staying committed to their mutual goal of being international ice dancers. And thank goodness they did, because that was very impressive. They need 86.03 if they are to jump over the team that have just skated.
The scores, waiting for the scores to come up. Always a tense moment.
Interesting seeing words in the costume for Gina, so consideration behind the whole concept, I'm sure. Everybody looking anxiously to see where we're going to hear it. Oh.
The score is 88.30. That is first in the free dance for Gina and Berlioz. Total competition score 143.65 as they take over the lead with 2 teams to come. They have a medal and some tears. Special moment.
Really special. Love that.
Our next team comes from Ukraine. Maria Pinchuk and Makita Pogorilov, second after the rhythm dance. 90.46 is their personal best. They'll just need an 83.03 to take the lead as they'll skate to Vogue and Frozen by Madonna.
Maria Pinchuk and Makita Bogoryov choosing a clear theme as Kirilo Mazar cheers them on. It's interesting, Ted, this team, such good skating skills, arguably some of the best fundamentals of the competition, and great that they've gone with a clear route, the Madonna theme. I think this performance will be very different from later in the season. Just, it requires such sharpness, and still a little early for it to have that real impact that I'm sure it will have as we see this performed again in competition.
Yeah, every team and every single skater, they need repetition. Repetition is early in the season, and not enough repetition to be tidy and clean all the way through.
Just always pointed with the free foot extension. Here, straight line lift into combination lift. The arm, left arm working. This is the difficult exit. And here, the transition that led into these twizzles was difficult. You can see the whacking type arm movements between them, but unfortunately, for Maria, just dropping a couple of levels within the twizzles. Choreo slide, getting almost 2 points extra from the grade of execution. So, interesting, just to compare and contrast. Isn't it fascinating how we can have such different styles, such different approaches, and then it has to come down to numbers as to who beats who.
Well, that's what I was a little bit referring to in the warm-up session a while back, was that you can have your, oh, I love that number type of favorite impression, but in the end of the day, it comes down to the numbers applied by the judges based on the technical elements for the most part, and obviously program components as well. Here goes the scores. They're currently in second after the rhythm dance. Enough to grab a medal.
Yeah.
So what color?
They've had a bronze last year in Riga, so for them, silver would be an achievement not yet made, and then potentially that puts them in contention for one of the spots at the Grand Prix final, depending on how they fare at the next assignment.
Look at not moving, not daring to move, waiting for the scores. There it is, 88.19. That's second in the free dance. The total competition score 148.82, and so they will take at least the silver medal. That puts them currently in the first place. Not overall jubilation.
No.
Just processing this. Maybe it's the number. They wanted a higher number. And the next team, the final team, the team that's in the lead after their rhythm dance, Yali Peterson and Jeffrey Chen, 16 and 21 years of age. They need an 85.58 to take the win here, the gold in 15 points. They're going to skate to I Remember in the point of no return, both from the Phantom of the Opera.
Yali Peterson and Jeffrey Chen from the United States of America. And Ted, I'd read a quote that said Yali always wanted to be an ice dancer from having watched Meryl Davis and Charlie White at the Olympics using music that Meryl and Charlie used so brilliantly. You can see already in Yali, despite her comparative lack of experience as a ice dance partner, some of the great qualities that Olympic champion Meryl Davis had as well. She'll be disappointed. Perhaps she's worried, but you know, the team is bound for success based on the quality of their movement.
No question. And being in first, you know, after the rhythm dance, it's an experience they really haven't had on the Junior Grand Prix. You know, to be there, how do you defend? Well, you can't really defend a place. You just have to keep pushing forward your own. And that's hard because you're wanting that medal. You're wanting that as part of your brain is talking to you about that. The other part is going, whoa, 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 we have to skate. Complicated and difficult. But this is a good experience for them to learn. Obviously, you can see her passion for dance. It's in her. She is a dancer. And she's living her dream. Maybe not the ultimate dream right yet.
But, you know, even in these slow-mos, you can see quality, beautiful extension of the free foot through the twizzles. And she looks so very comfortable in the air as well, defying the relative lack of speed. I just wonder if she checked some of the rotations and they might have dropped a level on the twizzles as well. And here, there's the rocker. That looked pretty good within this step. And again there, I see images of Meryl Davis. It's gorgeous. Yeah, the Chucks are so really mindful already of the quality of movement. Just there, unfortunate. And they had this
Slightly there, yeah.
Tricky. And that's to be expected. You know, they're new. It's inevitable. Choosing to do the choreo character step. The straight line down the ice using the long axis. An option that the couples can use this year. They weren't able to do that last year. So it's interesting, Ted, because Jeffrey's got so much experience and he's been very successful with previous partners, and I was so respectful of the way in which he cared for and looked after Yali in the rhythm dance, and now he's going to have to encourage and support her here too now, because it looks like they may lose the lead. But that's it, you know, whether it's first, second, third, irrespective, this is a really great team that I think could easily be in the Grand Prix final. Justifiably.
In my mind, they win two things. They win a medal, and they win an experience of which they won't let probably happen again. They'll know how to focus or how to be in the lead and how to continue to push forward. So it's just one Junior Grand Prix event and hopefully a long career for this team. 83.12, that's fifth in the free dance. The total competition score 146.37, and they grabbed the silver, and you need to be happy about that. Disappointment on the day, no question. And there is a look at the final standings, the final top five standings. Wow. Your thoughts?
I'm just frantically now thinking, how can I find out when the last time a Ukrainian team or skater won a Junior Grand Prix? That's my next assessment. I think how quickly could I get that information? But yeah, exciting and surprising perhaps. And for me, just great to see also a Swiss ice dance team taking a medal as well. So
yes,
recurring theme it seems on this series so far is celebration for nations that haven't had that kind of success before.
Yes, absolutely. Well, please, everyone, to stay online to watch the medal presentation. Of course, Mark, I want to thank you for your brilliant work in research, but also in delivery and your compassion that you have for the athletes. It's very apparent. I love working with it. I love working with you. It's a great joy. And thank you to the production team. So wherever you are, wherever you live around the world, whether it is morning, noon, or night, for all of us here at the ISU, for Mark Hanreddy, I'm Ted Barton. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, everyone.